Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin. Far beyond the hum of city lights, past the clouds and the curve of Earth, stars are being born. Not quickly, not loudly. They come into the universe like long-held breaths, exhaled from the deep lungs of galaxies. And though they burn with light and fire, their purpose reaches farther than we can see. Each star, when it dies, gives itself back. It explodes in silence we cannot hear. It scatters dust across the black fabric of space. And in that dust, hidden like seeds in wind, are the pieces that make you. Touch your skin, the warmth you feel isn't just your own. It carries the memory of something older. Hydrogen, carbon, calcium, oxygen. These are not just ingredients in a recipe, they are echoes. They are gifts from stars that lived long before the Earth was even dust itself. Your body is not separate from the sky. You are made from the same matter that once floated between suns. Imagine, if you can, a time before time, a dark that had never been broken by dawn. In that endless night, the first stars formed. Giant and short-lived, they lit up the early universe with new possibilities. When they died, they didn't vanish. They became creators. Their deaths gave birth to new atoms, heavier, stranger ones. Iron was born in the heart of these deaths. Gold, silver, phosphorus, and one day those atoms drifted. They floated for millions of years until gravity brought them together again. Clouds formed in space, not clouds of water, but clouds of gas and dust. Silent, patient things. And inside them stars began to form again. Around some stars, planets gathered. One of those planets would be Earth. And in the soil of this young Earth were the remains of those stars, the ingredients of life waiting for rain. Life began not with a shout, but with a ripple. Molecules dancing in puddles, learning to copy themselves. And when they did, they carried with them the fingerprints of stardust. Over billions of years, life grew more complex. Cells became tissues. Tissues became organs. Organs became bodies. And now, here you are, thinking, breathing, dreaming. All of it made possible by stars that died to make space for you. You can almost feel them if you listen closely. In the thrum of your blood, there's iron forged in stellar fire. In the breath you take, there's oxygen, once part of a cloud that gave birth to a sun. In the calcium of your bones, there's dust from a supernova. The water in your eyes, the salt in your sweat, the carbon in your heartbeat, all of it came from places you've never seen. You're not just in the universe is in you. Let's drift deeper. Imagine your body not as a collection of parts, but as a living museum. Each element a relic, each cell a story. Hydrogen, found in every glass of water, was born minutes after the universe began. Carbon, woven into your skin, your muscles, your brain, was created in the bellies of red giants. Phosphorus, key to the structure of your DNA, may have come from icy comets that rained down on Earth in the age of formation. Scientists study meteorites and compare them to the elements in our bodies. What they find is a mirror. The atoms in space rocks and in your cells are the same. You are not foreign to space. You are its child. And though the distances between stars are vast, the distance between your body and the stars is almost nothing. It's memory. It's return. Every heartbeat you feel is part of a long, unbroken chain. Energy passed down from the beginning of time, folded into molecules, passed into cells. Your skin, your hands, your voice, they are temporary forms of something ancient. You will change. You will decay. But the atoms will not vanish. They will drift again. They will find new homes. Perhaps in trees, in oceans, or once again, in stars. There is something soft in that thought, something gentle, that nothing is wasted, that everything returns. The body you live in is not just a shell, it's a story, a moment in the long breath of the cosmos, a pause before the atoms scatter again. You are not just alive, you are part of the living universe. You are the stars remembering themselves. So tonight, when you look up, know that the stars are not just above you. They are within you. They light your blood. They move in your bones, You're not separate from them. You're their voice, you're the skin of the stars. Now imagine the way your body breathes, the quiet rise and fall of your chest, the gentle rhythm that never needed to be taught. That breath is older than you, older than your name. It's part of the long rhythm of life that began in oceans lit only by lightning and stars. And the air you draw into your lungs, what is it made of? Oxygen, mostly. But that oxygen wasn't always here. It had to be made, forged in stars scattered across space, gathered into Earth's early skies. Before that, Earth's air was not safe to breathe. But something changed. Life arrived simple and green, and it began to sing with light. Photosynthesis. A quiet, endless song that filled the sky with the oxygen you breathe now. You carry that oxygen in every cell. It moves through your blood like a messenger. But to do its job, it needs a partner. Iron. And where did that iron come from? A star. Long ago, a massive star used up its fuel and collapsed in on itself. In its final moments, it created iron and threw it into space. That iron drifted through the dark, settled into Earth, and one day became part of your veins. You don't just carry star stuff in your skin, you use it. You live because of it. Even your heartbeat is shaped by ancient physics. The way your muscles contract, the way your nerves carry signals. It's all electricity, but not the kind that powers lights or machines. This is delicate, whispering electricity born from the flow of charged particles. And those particles? They are the same particles found in suns, in lightning, in the empty void between galaxies. The voltage that dances through your brain is not so different from the voltage in a storm. Let's go deeper still. The carbon in your body, the thing that forms the backbone of all your proteins, your DNA, your thoughts, that carbon was made in a star's core. Not all stars, only the ones that live long enough to create heavier elements. Carbon requires a very specific kind of star to form, one just massive enough, one just old enough. It's a delicate balance. If stars had formed a little differently, carbon might never have existed, and without carbon there would be no life like yours. So your existence is not just the result of chance, it's the result of balance, of timing, of stars that lived and died in just the right way. Your atoms are not random, they are rare, precious, and yet they are everywhere. The same iron in your blood is in the soil. The same calcium in your bones is in shells. The same nitrogen in your muscles is in the sky. You are not separate from the earth or the cosmos. You are what happens when they touch. Think of your senses, the way you see, smell, taste, and touch. Your eyes contain tiny crystals of proteins that detect light. Those proteins fold into just the right shape because of the instructions in your DNA. And that DNA is built from atoms that once floated through space, cooled in comets, sank into oceans. Your sense of sight is not just biological, it's cosmic. Your ability to see the stars comes from the stars themselves. Even your thoughts, the quiet voice in your mind, are made possible by the flow of ions, charged particles moving in and out of cells. Every thought is an electrical pattern, shaped by chemistry, shaped by physics, shaped by the elements that were shaped by stars. Your thoughts are not separate from the universe. They are the universe thinking about itself. Now think of memory, the way you can recall a scent, a face, a feeling. Memory lives in proteins and neurons and structures that grew over time. But what makes those structures possible? Phosphorus. Without it, your cells couldn't store energy. Your DNA couldn't hold information. And phosphorus, like carbon and iron, has a story that began in space. Some scientists believe it arrived on Earth riding inside meteorites, tiny rocks carrying the seeds of memory. So when you remember, you are not just thinking, you are echoing the journey of something that crossed light years to be here. Let's float through another layer. Your body is mostly water, and water is made of hydrogen and oxygen. That hydrogen, the simplest atom in the universe, was formed just moments after the Big Bang. It is the oldest part of you. Every drop of water in your body carries a fingerprint from the beginning of time. That means when you drink a glass of water, you're touching the past. When you cry, you're releasing something ancient. When you sweat, you're shining with history. And what of salt? The salt in your tears and in your blood. Where did that come from? It too was made in stars. Sodium and chlorine, born in different places, eventually met on Earth. They became part of the oceans, then part of your body. And now, when you feel emotion, When you cry or sweat or bleed, the stars speak through you. The chemistry of feeling is the chemistry of galaxies. You can almost feel it now, can't you? That nothing about your body is ordinary. That your hands, your spine, your breath are woven from stories written in the language of the universe. Science is not just a collection of facts. It is a way to remember where we came from, to see the beauty in our bodies, to know that every time we move, we carry the dust of stars. And when you lie down to sleep, your body doesn't vanish. It doesn't stop, it restores, it repairs. Cells divide, atoms shift, chemistry continues quietly. Even in rest, your body is a symphony of stardust, still playing, still remembering. The night sky above you and the silence within you are not so different. They both hold mysteries. They both are made of stars. You are the product of billions of years of cosmic evolution, but you are also more than that. You're aware. You can wonder. You can look up at the stars and know, somehow, that they belong to you. Not in ownership, but in origin, in kinship. You are not separate from the universe. You are the skin it made for itself. The skin of stars wrapped around a moment called you. If you were to float far enough from Earth, away from its pull and sound, you would find a silence that is almost sacred. In that silence, you could hold your hand out and imagine the atoms inside it, ancient and patient. No heartbeat, no breath, just you and the stardust that once belonged to things too bright to look at. But even in that deep quiet, your body would still remember. It would remember gravity, memory, the fold of proteins, the turn of molecules. It would remember where it came from, even if you forgot. Your body is not a single thing. It is a collection of many things, held together by laws older than any language. The shape of your face, the bend of your wrist, the way your eyes hold light, they are patterns, repeating across time, not designed, but grown, guided by the silent music of chemistry. And at every level, from the smallest particle to your voice in the air, there is only one true author, the universe. The atoms in you have been other things. Some of them may have passed through plants, oceans, animals. Some may have been part of the soil walked on by dinosaurs. Some may have circled in stars that lived and died before our solar system existed. There is no beginning that does not lead to you, and no end that does not carry you forward. You are not a destination. You are a pause in the journey of atoms, a soft breath in their long voyage. It's easy to think of the body as separate, flesh and bone, skin and thought, but it is all connected. The iron in your blood is not just in your veins, it is what binds you to the Earth's core, to meteorites, to distant suns. The calcium in your teeth once floated through clouds that became planets. The water in your cells has passed through rivers, clouds, and maybe other beings. Everything inside you has travelled. Everything inside you is on its way somewhere else. Even death, which we fear and resist, is just another part of this grand recycling. When your body returns to the earth, it does not end. It transforms. Bacteria will break it down. Trees might drink the water. Animals might walk where your bones once were. And in time, those atoms will drift again. Maybe into air, maybe into fire, maybe into a star. You are not lost. You are always becoming. Consider your breath. With every inhale, you bring in molecules that might have been breathed by whales, wolves or warriors centuries ago. Air is shared across all life, passed back and forth like a message. Inhale, and know you're speaking a language older than words. Exhale, and send yourself forward, a little piece of your story joining the world. Your body is also a record, a quiet archive of light and memory. Scars remember the moment they formed. Muscles remember how to move. Bones remember weight and pressure. Even your skin remembers the sun. It tans to protect itself. It thickens where it is used. And all of it, every inch, every cell is temporary. But the atoms inside, those last. They don't forget. When you close your eyes, your brain doesn't stop. It sifts, it drifts, it rewires. Dreams come from somewhere deep, and the atoms that carry them have likely spun through galaxies before becoming part of your mind. You are dreaming with star stuff. You are sleeping in a body borrowed from time itself. And perhaps the most poetic truth of all is this. Stars are not weird rare. They are everywhere, scattered through the universe in clusters and clouds. And because you are made of them, you are not rare either. You are part of something vast, something constant, something alive. The warmth of your hands, the rhythm of your lungs, the quiet hum in your bones. They're all little fires like stars. They burn softly, they carry light. In 1 billion years, long after your name is forgotten, the atoms in your body will still exist. They will not vanish, they will not fall apart, they will move, they will become a blade of grass, a wing, a drop of rain, a line in a poem, a cell in another body looking up at the stars and wondering. And in that moment, some small part of you will still be wondering too. So the next time you feel small, remember this. The universe didn't make you by accident. It made you because it could. It gathered light and dark, fire and ash, time and silence. And from all of it, it shaped you. Not perfect, not permanent, but beautiful, temporary, a vessel for wonder. You are not just in the universe. You are not just made of it. You are the universe awake. You are the skin of the stars. Breathe in, quietly, without force. Let the air slip past your lips, slide down your throat, and sink into your chest. Now hold it there. Not in tension, but in stillness, in reverence. That breath, the one you're holding, is made of atoms older than the earth. It has been inside trees and oceans, lungs of birds and beasts, and it carries whispers from all of them. You do not breathe alone. Every inhale is part of a story much bigger than yourself. Oxygen is what we often name, the giver of life, but it is not alone. Your breath also carries nitrogen, carbon dioxide, tiny traces of noble gases. Helium, neon, argon, silent companions that don't bond easily but that float with you anyway. Together they make the air, together they enter your body and begin their quiet work. Oxygen rushes toward your blood. It binds to iron in your red cells, and in seconds it is everywhere. In your brain, your fingers, your toes. It fuels you without flame, it feeds you without mouth. And where did this oxygen come from? Not from machines or magic. It came from leaves. From green things. Plants, reaching toward the sun, turn light into sugar, and in doing so they give away oxygen as a gift they never ask thanks for. Forests breathe out so you can breathe in. Oceans too, teeming with plankton, produce much of the air we use. They are quiet factories, unseen and endless. You walk through the world breathing what they made. But even this story starts farther back. Before Earth had trees or oceans, before it had air, the early Earth was harsh, volcanoes, molten stone, poisonous gas. It was not a place for lungs. Then came time, then came cooling, then came the first flickers of life, tiny single-celled things, clinging to rocks and drinking sunlight. They were the first to give the gift of oxygen. Slowly, over millions of years, they changed the sky. They made an atmosphere, they made breath possible. You carry their legacy inside you. Your lungs are not just organs, they are forests turned inward. Every branch of your bronchi mirrors the branching of trees. The alveoli, the tiny air sacs, are like leaves, catching molecules instead of light. You're not separate from nature. You're made in its image. You are how the earth breathes back. Imagine zooming in beyond your skin down into the bloodstream. Red cells shaped like discs gliding through narrow vessels. On their surface, hemoglobin, a protein made with iron at its heart, and that iron, as you know, came from a star. Long ago it was flung across space, fell to Earth, settled into rocks, entered your food, your marrow, your breath. You breathe with the help of a dead star. Every oxygen molecule that binds to iron is a reunion, cosmic dust rediscovered. Now follow the oxygen deeper, into the cells. There it enters the mitochondria, the tiny engines inside you. They take sugar and oxygen and spin them into energy. They create the warmth in your skin, the movement in your hands, the fire in your thoughts, and when they're done, they release carbon dioxide, which you exhale. You breathe in life and breathe out a gift for the plants. A perfect loop, a quiet agreement. One breath becomes another. And so breathing is more than survival. It is communion. With air, with life, with time. Every breath you take is someone else's legacy. The oxygen you use today might have passed through Cleopatra's lungs, through the gills of ancient fish, through a fern in the Carboniferous forest. Air is not new, it is borrowed. It is passed down like stories, like names. But your breath is also personal, it changes with emotion. When you're calm, it slows. When you're afraid, it quickens. When you cry, it shakes. Breath is not just physical, it's emotional. It carries the rhythm of feeling. And deep beneath that rhythm, in the marrow of your bones, your body is making more blood. Every second it creates millions of red cells. It does this without asking, without needing. Your bones breathe too, in their own way. They give rise to the cells that give rise to breath. Let us not forget this gift. Let us remember that breath is not guaranteed, that it can be hard, fragile, stolen, that the ability to breathe freely is a miracle repeated 1,000 times an hour. The chest rises, the lungs fill, the heart beats, and you are alive, not just because you breathe, but because you are breathed. You are not just a body with lungs. You are the breath of the earth, wrapped in skin. You are the movement of wind stilled into form. You are the air, learning how to speak. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your body not as a shape but as a landscape. Deep caves where lungs expand, winding rivers of blood. Forests of nerves branching like roots. Mountains of muscle, valleys of breath. And beneath it all, hidden in the hollow centre of your bones, life begins again. Bone marrow, soft, pulsing unseen, is the birthplace of breath. Not the air itself, but the cells that carry it. Here in darkness, your body quietly crafts its messengers. They emerge red and round, designed to ferry oxygen across the endless roads of your bloodstream. And what is oxygen really? Just two atoms bound together. Light, invisible, weightless. Yet it is the reason you are warm, the reason your thoughts sparkle, the reason your muscles move. Without it, the dance of life stills. The lights inside you fade. Every cell waits for it, opens to it, depends on it. But oxygen can't move on its own. It needs iron. It needs the red cells your marrow makes. Without those, breath is only air. Think of the journey one breath takes, from the tip of your nose to the depths of your lungs, through bronchi, through alveoli, across the delicate lining into blood. And from there it rides, on a red cell through arteries, to your heart, your brain, your fingertips. One breath touches nearly every part of you. It doesn't just fill your lungs. It feeds your cells. It becomes you. But just as every breath gives life, it also shapes feeling. Breath is the bridge between your body and your emotions. Joy widens your breath. Grief tightens it. Fear shortens it. Love softens it. You can read someone's soul by watching the rhythm of their chest. Breath tells stories without sound. It is the poem your body writes every moment it lives. And within that poem, there is memory. Your body remembers how to breathe without being taught. Infants draw their first breath without instruction. It is instinct, yes, but deeper still, it is inheritance. It is the echo of evolution, 1 billion years of trial and error folded into your lungs. Creatures once crawled from the sea and breathed air for the first time. They were awkward, unsure, but something inside them remembered water, and something else learned air. That learning lives in you now. Consider the diaphragm, a muscle shaped like a dome, rising and falling with every inhale, every exhale. It is the silent drummer of your life, setting the rhythm from your first breath to your last. Without it, you cannot breathe. And yet it works in silence, no applause, no command, just motion, just faith, just life. Now let's go smaller, deeper, to the molecular level. Oxygen, once in the cell, becomes part of the most sacred transaction in biology, cellular respiration. It is here that sugar is burned, energy is made, and carbon dioxide is released. The process is elegant, exact, not one electron wasted. The ATP created, adenosine triphosphate, is the currency your body uses to think, feel, heal, all powered by breath. And the waste, carbon dioxide, is not a burden. It is a message, carried back to the lungs, exhaled into the world where plants are waiting. They open their mouths, stomata on their leaves, and drink it in. They use it, along with sunlight and water, to make food, and as they do, they exhale oxygen. The cycle closes. The loop continues. You breathe out what they need. They breathe out what you need. It is not a coincidence. It is a partnership older than memory. Let's wander into another part of the body, the brain. It consumes 1/5 of your oxygen. Though small in size, it is hungry, always hungry. Every thought, every blink, every whisper of imagination requires oxygen. The clarity you feel after deep breathing is not magic. It is fuel. The brain depends on breath the way fire depends on air. It flickers brighter when it's fed. Even now, as you read these words, oxygen is flowing through your neurons, helping you make meaning. Language itself is carried on the wind of breath. You speak because your lungs push air through vocal cords. You sing because breath rises like birds. You laugh because breath skips. You cry because breath breaks. Every sound you make is a shape given to air. And in that way, your breath is a kind of music, a song your body knows by heart. You don't need to remember how to sing it. You only need to let it play. In sleep, it hums softly. In panic, it drums. In peace, it whispers. And sometimes, in deep silence, it almost disappears, holding still in reverence for the moment. Breath connects you to every living thing, from whales that surface in crashing oceans to moths that flutter in still forests, from the tiniest shrew to the tallest elephant. If it lives, it breathes. Life moves through breath, and death begins when it stops. But even then, breath is not wasted. The last exhale becomes the next inhale for something else. Air moves. It carries memory. It loops through generations. The molecules in your lungs have passed through thousands of lives. They will pass through thousands more. Air never stays. It visits. It teaches. It leaves. So what is breath truly? It is not just survival. It is a sacred exchange, a communion with trees and stars, bones and oceans, time and stillness. It is the most intimate conversation you will ever have with the universe. Every moment you are alive, you are being spoken into existence by air. And in return, your exhale is an offering, a promise, a prayer, that you are here, that you are part of this, that you are not alone. There's a quiet truth resting just beneath your collarbone, softer than a whisper, older than language. Your breath is not something you own. It is something you borrow, a gift passed from tree to lung, from sea to skin, from sky to soul. It moves through you like wind through grass, never staying, never still. And in that movement, it teaches the most tender lesson of all, how to let go. From the moment you were born, your body began to breathe. Not with thought, not with choice, but with knowing. The kind of knowing that lives deep in the bones, etched into the architecture of life itself. You took that first inhale before you opened your eyes, before you even knew what it meant to be alive. And from then on, breath has been your closest companion. Invisible, constant, faithful. But breath is not a single thing, it is a thread. It ties you to everything that has ever lived. Every breath you take has been breathed before, by birds, by strangers, by wolves and whales, by ancestors who no longer walk the earth. And someday the air you exhale will find its way into the lungs of someone you will never meet. Your breath will live on, even after you do not. That is its promise. That is its poetry. Now consider your ribs. They rise and fall with each breath like waves in a tide that never ceases. They are not just bones. They are the gatekeepers of your breath. And within their cradle your lungs open and close like petals. Not all lungs are the same. Some are stronger, some are weaker. Some hold joy, some carry sorrow. But every pair tells a story. Yours has told countless. When you are still, when the world is quiet, you can feel it. The breath beneath your bones. Not loud, not showy, just there. A soft reminder that you are part of something bigger. That breath doesn't just belong to you, it belongs to life. Let's drift now, past the edge of biology and into wonder. Imagine the air around you glowing faintly, not with colour, but with memory. Every molecule, every atom remembers where it has been. Through forests, through fire, through lungs and laughter. The air remembers rain, remembers the cry of animals, remembers silence. And it remembers you, because when you breathe, you mark the air with yourself. You leave behind a trace not just of carbon, but of presence. This is the breath beneath your bones, the quiet truth that what is inside you is also outside, that there is no real separation between your body and the world. You're porous, not just physically, but spiritually. The world moves through you. You are not an island, you are a doorway. And every breath opens it wider. You may not notice breath most of the time. That's its nature. It serves without needing attention. It works in the background, humbly, like a tide that never crashes. But when you do notice, when you stop and feel your inhale, feel your exhale, it becomes something else. It becomes sacred. It becomes presence. You're no longer drifting through time. You are here, alive, aware, awake. There are traditions that center around breath. Ancient ones, yogis who speak of prana, life force, monks who follow their breath to find stillness, singers who learn to stretch a single breath into music, and poets like us who use breath to measure rhythm, to carry meaning, to hold silence. In every corner of culture, breath is honored, not because it is loud, but because it is essential. It is the beginning of every story, the pause between every sentence, the end of every song. Even grief has its breath, shallow, broken, trembling. Even love has its breath, soft, deep, steady, and even peace has its breath, silent, gentle, full. And someday, when your body is tired, when your chest rises for the last time, that final breath will not be a loss. It will be a return, a giving back. The breath you borrowed you will offer to the world again, and the world will receive it. It always does. So if ever you feel small or separate, just breathe. Feel the way the air moves in and out of you. Feel the way it reminds you of your place, not at the center, not at the edge, but as part of the flow, part of the cycle, part of the breath that belongs to all things. You are more than your bones, more than your mind. You are breath, wrapped in skin lit by memory. You are a brief moment of the earth breathing itself into form, and in your quiet rhythm, the universe remembers how to exhale. Breathe in. You're alive. Breathe out into your home. There is something ancient in your veins, something older than bones, older than earth. It flows in silence, moves with purpose, and carries a story that predates your name. Iron. A metal, yes, but more than that. A memory. A messenger. A relic of fire so hot it could only be born in the death of a star. Every drop of blood that moves through your body carries this quiet element. And every moment it moves, it reminds the universe that you are made from what once burned in the sky. Iron is not found floating in clouds or forming in cold, it is created in violence. When a massive star reaches the end of its life, it collapses, and in that collapse the pressure becomes unimaginable. Atoms fuse, heat spikes, and in those final moments, iron is born. Not slowly, but all at once, like a spark, a scream. Then the star explodes, sending its contents into space. And among the dust and ash and light, iron drifts, carried on winds of silence, waiting for a home. Eventually it finds earth, in the crust, in the ore, in the soil, and from there it finds you. Not by accident, by breath, by food, by inheritance. It becomes part of you, not on the surface, not in your skin, but deep inside your blood. Your red cells carry it like sacred cargo, because iron binds with oxygen, and oxygen, as you know, is life. So each time you breathe, the oxygen you draw in latches onto the iron in your red cells. It's an embrace, a brief, powerful bond. And with every heartbeat, that bond is delivered throughout your body, to muscles that move, to nerves that fire, to cells that dream. Iron doesn't just carry life, it enables it. Without it, oxygen would drift, lost and useless. But with iron, it finds its path, it finds you. Your blood is red because of this union. Hemoglobin, the protein that carries oxygen, is red when it binds to oxygen. Rust red, star red. It is not coincidence. It is a signature. The universe wrote its story into your colour. That shade, so familiar, so alive, is the mark of stellar ancestry. The red in your lips, your cheeks, your wounds. It is the colour of the cosmos remembering itself. But iron does more than transport breath. It builds. It shapes. It is part of the enzymes that allow your cells to function, part of the structure of your DNA, part of the machinery of memory and thought. Your mind thinks with the help of iron. Your body stands because of it. You are not only powered by stars, you're structured by them. Now picture the marrow in your bones. Quiet, wet, hidden. It works without rest, crafting blood cells from molecules, from atoms, from iron. Every second, millions of new red cells are born, each one shaped to carry oxygen, each one infused with iron drawn from your diet, your reserves, your history. You are constantly remaking the very thing that allows you to live. And all of it depends on this one small element. Iron isn't light. It's heavy. It sinks in the earth. That's why the planet's core is rich in it. That's why your blood has weight. There is gravity to you, not just in metaphor, but in truth. You carry a piece of the core within you. You are in some ways a mirror of the planet you walk on. Both of you born from the same dust, both of you held together by iron. And iron, though strong, is not invincible. It rusts, it weathers, it wears down. Your body knows this. It recycles iron carefully, pulling it from dying cells and using it again. It hoards it when times are hard, releases it when needed. Your body is wise. It guards the precious metal that lets it breathe. Iron is also magnetic. It responds to invisible forces. Compasses point north because of it. Birds navigate with it. Even in your own brain, there are trace amounts that may help you sense direction, though you do not notice. You're subtly aligned with the planet, with its field, with its pull. And again, it is iron that makes that possible. A small thing, doing quiet work, keeping you connected to something larger. But what's most extraordinary about the iron in your blood is not its function. It's its origin. Every atom of iron in your body came from a supernova. A star's death made your life. There is no other way it could have arrived. It was not made here. It was delivered, gifted, exploded across space so it could one day become part of you. And so, when you bleed, when you feel your heart racing, when you warm your hands on a winter morning, remember, this is starlight, reimagined. This is not just biology. It is astronomy, rewritten in skin. You are not simply alive, you are forged. In quiet rooms, in stillness, you may even hear it, the pulse of the universe in your veins, the slow reminder that stars did not die in vain. They died for this, for movement, for thought, for love, for you. Let us follow the iron deeper now, past the bloodstream, past the organs, down to the very heart of the cells it serves. In the mitochondria, the quiet, glowing engines inside your every cell, iron plays its part with unwavering devotion. Here, it helps convert oxygen and nutrients into energy, not with noise or flame, but with invisible reactions that power every motion, every thought. Without iron, the mitochondria slow, the cell weakens, the light dims. This is why fatigue comes when iron is low, not just sleepiness, but a deep, aching weariness. Because the fires of life are stoked by iron. But your body is wise. It knows how to store, recycle, and protect this metal. Special proteins like ferritin hold iron safely, releasing it when needed. Other molecules shuttle it from one place to another, never letting it stray. This is not carelessness, this is precision. The body guards its iron like treasure, because in truth it is treasure. Stardust refined into breath, movement, warmth. And iron does more than carry oxygen. It is part of your immune system, helping fight infection. It assists enzymes that build and break molecules. It helps your brain grow, your muscles work, your skin heal. It is everywhere, but never loud, always tucked inside. It is the backbone of quiet strength. Now drift outward again. Picture the Earth not as a planet, but as a body. Its molten core pulsing, its crust like skin, its atmosphere like breath. Deep at its center is iron, glowing under pressure, spinning in motion. That spinning creates Earth's magnetic field, a shield that protects us from solar winds, from radiation, from cosmic danger. Without that core of iron, the planet would be bare. No magnetic field, no auroras dancing at the poles, no shield for life to bloom beneath. So the same element that powers your cells also powers your planet. The same metal that gives you breath also guards your world. This is not coincidence. This is designed by nature, slow, mysterious, but perfect. You and the Earth speak the same elemental language. You are both children of iron. In your blood, iron flows in Shelnit, but in stars, it marks the end. When a star begins making iron in its core, it is already dying. Iron does not release energy when it fuses, it consumes it. And so, a star making iron is writing its final chapter. The pressure builds, the core collapses, and then a supernova. In that explosion, iron is cast out like seeds in a windstorm. It becomes the dust that builds worlds. It becomes you, and not just you. Iron is everywhere. In mountains, in rivers, in soil. Plants pull it from the ground, animals eat the plants, you eat the food that grew from that iron. The cycle is seamless. The metal that once glowed in a star now turns the wheel of life. The fork in your drawer, the nails in your wall, the red in a sunset. All reminders. The world is laced with stardust. There is poetry even in rust. When iron meets air and water, it oxidizes. It breaks down, turns red or brown, flakes away. But this decay is not waste, it is transformation. The red cliffs of Mars, the soil beneath your feet, the iron in ancient tools, all rusted, all changed, but still here, still telling the story of their journey. Rust is memory made visible, a record of touch, of time, of breath. Your own body rusts in its way, not in colour but in wear. Iron levels can fall, illness or age can shift the balance, and when that happens, you feel it. Dizziness, cold hands, short breath, the body misses its metal. It longs for the fire that once burned steady. But with rest, with food, with care, iron returns. The balance restores. The fire flickers back to life. And yet too much iron can harm. It must be just enough. Life is balance, always. A narrow window between too little and too much. The body knows this and works in silence to keep it. Without fanfare, without praise, just motion, just maintenance, just magic. Now look beyond the self. Think of the tools we use, blades, wheels, engines, satellites. Iron made all of them possible. It was among the first metals humans learned to shape. The Iron Age marked a turning point. When civilization sharpened its will, from blood to blade, from star to structure, iron has always carried us forward. In modern science, we study iron to look inward. MRI machines use magnetic fields to see inside the body. Those fields interact with the iron in your blood, creating images, revealing secrets. Even in death, iron lingers. Ancient skeletons still hold traces of it. Soil where battles were fought is rich with it. Time forgets many things. Iron is not one of them. And so you live with this ancient guest inside you. You wake with it, you grow with it, you love with it. And one day you will return it. Not to the stars perhaps, but to the earth, to the cycle. Your atoms will scatter, your iron will sink, and maybe in 1,000 years a tree will draw it up, or a river will carry it, or a spark in the sky will recognize it as kin. You are not only alive because of iron, you're part of its legacy, a brief shining chapter in its long molten tale, and as long as your blood runs red, the universe remembers the stars that burned so you could be. There is a kind of silence that only comes at night, a hush that wraps around the bones, around the breath. And in that quiet, if you pay attention, you may feel something stirring just beneath your skin. Not emotion, not thought. Something older, something slower. The iron in your blood flowing as it always has, carrying oxygen from one cell to the next, whispering through capillaries like wind through tall grass. It is a rhythm, a lullaby, a soft memory of stars now gone, and yet because of you, they are not entirely gone. They live on in pulse and heat, in warmth and waking. Iron does not age the way flesh does. It does not wrinkle, does not forget. The atoms inside you have remained unchanged for billions of years. Long before Earth cooled, long before oceans formed, long before names were spoken, your iron existed, and it will exist long after your breath stills. It is not bound to time, it is bound to journey, to motion, to transformation. The same atom of iron that once drifted through a supernova now moves through your veins. It has moved through mountain, soil, seed, and flesh. It does not stay in one place. It belongs to the story of a matter, the story of becoming. And for now, in this moment, it belongs to you. You carry it not as owner, but as steward. You are its home for a while. When you feel your heartbeat echo in your chest, you're listening to a chorus of atoms. The iron sings with oxygen, releasing energy not in song, but in spark. This fire warms your muscles, fuels your motion, feeds your thoughts. You are not powered by metaphor, you're powered by science. And yet that science is not cold. It is a wonder in its purest form. To know that stars died to make your breath, that is a kind of grace. And what of the heart itself? A muscle, yes. A pump, but also a listener. A clock. A witness. It beats more than 3 billion times in a lifetime. It asks for nothing but skandal, but rhythm, but iron. The blood it moves, rich, red, ancient, reminds it what it came from, reminds it to keep going. You may not feel it often, this deep connection to the cosmos. Life is busy, loud, demanding, but when you pause, when you breathe slowly, when you close your eyes, you can return to it. You can remember that your body is not just a container, it is a continuation, of explosions, of evolution, of stars folding into skin. And in this remembering there is peace. You are not lost, you are not alone. You are part of a chain so long, so vast it loops across galaxies. The iron in your blood knows this. It was there when the chain began. It will be there when it ends. One day your body will return to the earth. The iron will sink as it always does. It may feed a tree, it may rest in stone. It may find its way into another creature, another being. This is not an ending. It is only the next step. You are temporary, but what you are made of is not. And perhaps in the far future, when the sun is cold, when the earth is quiet, your iron will journey again. Through rock, through dust, through space. And perhaps it will join with others, carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and find its way into a new star, a new sun, a new light in the sky. So look up tonight. Find a star. Know that somewhere in your body is its twin. That the fire you see above is the fire that moves within. You're not watching a stranger. You are seeing your reflection. Because the truth is simple and gentle and vast. You are iron and breath and memory. You're star stuff moving quietly through time. You are the blood of the universe, and the universe never forgets its own. In the beginning there was dust. Not the kind that gathers on shelves or floats in sunbeams, but cosmic dust. Fragments of stars scattered across the blackness like ash from a divine fire. Tiny, weightless, ancient. And yet within those grains lived potential. Not of cities or machines or even thought, but of form, of breath, of bodies. These specks, born in the heart of dying stars, held the seeds of everything you are now. Your eyes, your lungs, your hands. All of it began in the drift of interstellar dust. Dust does not rush. It moves like sleep, like silence. For millions of years it wandered, alone and unseen, carried by the windless breath of space, shaped only by time and gravity. Some of it passed through glowing nebulae, bathing in starlight. Some of it collided, clung together, began to swirl. It is here that planets were born, not from fire, but from patience. And on one of those planets, Earth, the dust became soil, and from the soil came life. The dust that dreams of organs did not know it would become flesh. It only knew how to gather, how to wait, how to respond to heat, to water, to light. And one day the atoms came together in a new way. Carbon met hydrogen, oxygen joined, molecules formed, then chains, then membranes. Life flickered, not loudly, not with words, but with rhythm like the first heartbeat of a universe inside a cell. Your body is the result of that long waiting, that gentle, endless combining. Each part of you, the stretch of skin, the curve of bone, the pulse in your wrist, was once dust floating through the dark. The calcium in your teeth, the sodium in your tears, the iron in your blood, all of it once scattered and alone now sings together inside you. Organs are not machines. They are poems written in muscle and memory. The heart does not just pump, it listens. The lungs do not just breathe, they speak with air. The liver, the kidneys, the brain, they are sculpted from particles that once knew only drifting, but now they have direction, purpose, they carry your life in their rhythm. And the brain? Oh, the brain is a galaxy in itself. 86 billion neurons firing in delicate waves, sculpting thought from electricity and salt. Those neurons are made from dust too. Silica, carbon, water. The brain dreams because dust dared to change, to bind, to become. Imagine the dust, billions of years ago, unaware of what it would become, a whisper in the void, and now it sits behind your eyes, allowing you to read these words. It listens when you speak. It weeps when you grieve. It holds memory and imagination, fear and love. This is not evolution as a straight line. It is a spiral, a return, a remembering. Your organs did not appear all at once. They evolved slowly, shaped by time, environment, need. The heart began as a simple tube in ancient fish. The lungs from sacs that once let creatures gulp air. The brain from clusters of nerve. All of it grown in response to a world that pushed and pulled. And always, beneath it all, the atoms remain the same. The atoms never forget. They do not age as you do. They do not sleep. But they learn in their own way. They form patterns. They repeat successful shapes. They grow hearts where hearts are needed. They grow eyes where light enters. They grow fingers where touch is possible. And in this way, dust becomes design, function, feeling. Even now, your organs are not static. They breathe, they stretch, they adapt. Your skin regenerates. Your blood renews. Your bones reshape in response to pressure. This is not stillness. This is life as motion. Life as ongoing emergence. The dust is still dreaming. It never stopped. And when you look at your body, remember this. You are not solid. You are not fixed. You are a wave, a current, a flicker of particles bound together by a momentary need. You are not just made of dust. You are dust, continuing its journey toward understanding. Touch your chest. Feel the heartbeat. That rhythm is not just yours. It is inherited. From fish, from stars, from dust. It is the sound of particles finally coming home to each other. It is the lullaby of atoms that once knew only drifting, now held in the shape of love. You are not an accident. You are a possibility fulfilled, a pattern repeated, a question answered. Dust has no voice, but in you it sings, and what it sings is wonder. Let us move deeper now, not into the stars, but into the silence within you, into the spaces behind your ribs, beneath your skin, where organs hum and pulse with tireless devotion. They are not loud. They do not ask for attention. Yet they perform miracles with every breath, every beat, every moment you remain alive. And still they are not separate from the cosmos. They are its continuation, shaped by dust, awakened by time. Begin with the heart, not as a symbol, but as a muscle. 4 chambers, countless beats. It began as a flicker in a watery world back when creatures lived entirely in the sea. It formed from a simple curve of tissue, a rhythm, a need. As life moved from ocean to land, the heart grew more complex. It became chambers, valves, pressure systems. But at its core it remains what it always was, a keeper of rhythm, a soft drum made from the dust that once drifted between galaxies. The heart feeds every organ with oxygen-rich blood, with the iron-kissed breath of stars. But it does not command. It collaborates. It listens to the body's signals, slowing when you rest, racing when you run. It is aware, not in thought, but in rhythm. And the blood it moves, formed in bone, shaped by plasma, driven by iron, never forgets its origin. Even in motion, it is memory. The liver, too, is made of dust. It filters, rebuilds, stores. It transforms one substance into another with a grace that no machine can match. It is the silent chemist of your body, always watching, always ready. It processes what you eat, what you breathe, what you feel. When you are sick, it works harder. When you are well, it rests. It is made of soft tissue, yes, but also of discipline. And within its cells, the same atoms that once swirled through stellar clouds now work quietly for your survival. Now drift upward. The lungs. They are not just balloons that fill with air. They are forests, branching like trees, breathing with you. Each breath is 1,000 small openings, expanding and collapsing, accepting the sky and giving something back. They move without thought, but not without purpose. And in the soft tissues of your lungs, carbon and oxygen exchange hands like old friends. The dust remembers how to breathe. Even your kidneys, tucked behind bone and muscle, remember the oceans they once came from. They filter water, balance salt, manage waste. They are echoes of tides built for balance, and they too were sculpted from dust that passed through stars, passed through meteors, passed through the bones of creatures long extinct. You do not need to understand their every function to honour them. Their work is a kind of devotion, a remembering. Let us not forget the brain, a galaxy of thought. Within its folds and curves are cells that talk in flashes and pulses. Electricity moves through them, guided by chemicals, shaped by experience. But beneath every thought is structure, and that structure is made of matter. Neurons, glia, myelin, all born from dust, all refined by time. The brain did not appear suddenly. It evolved, grew, changed, and now it dreams. It imagines itself as more than matter. It creates music, poetry, sorrow, all from particles that once floated silently in the dark. There is wonder in the gut, too, in the coils and folds of your intestines, in the microbes that live there. You're not alone in your own body. Trillions of bacteria help you digest, protect you, speak with your immune system, and they too come from the same dust. There is no part of you untouched by the stars. Your bones, strong and silent, remember pressure. They are made of calcium, of phosphate, of collagen, materials forged in ancient waters gathered from food, from breath. They are scaffolding, but also storytellers. They grow with you, heal when broken, respond to your movements. They are not rigid, they are alive. And deep within, your marrow spins out cells, red and white, every day. Dust becoming blood, blood becoming breath, and even your skin, the boundary between you and the world, is a living organ. It sheds and renews, it protects and senses, it holds in moisture, holds out harm, it feels warmth, touch, pain. It carries pigment that traces back to sun and evolution. It glows with health, with age, with light, and within it are minerals, proteins, molecules, all once part of rocks, of rivers, of stars. What unites all these organs is not just their function, but their origin. They did not come from nowhere. They came from the same dust that formed moons and metals and meteorites, and they carry that legacy not in memory, but in matter. Each breath you take is an act of inheritance. Each heartbeat is a remembering. You are not made of randomness, you are made of a story. A sequence of moments in which dust became more than dust. It became thought, movement, feeling. And what makes this story even more miraculous is that it continues. Your body renews itself. Cells die and are replaced. Skin sloughs, bones rebuild, blood is born again. You're not static, you are a constant becoming. And every new cell made is a continuation of that cosmic dream. So when you feel tired or fragile or uncertain, place your hand on your chest. Feel the organs inside, not as parts, but as a chorus. They sing with every second. They were born from silence, from stardust, from time, and they have become you. There comes a moment, usually in stillness, when you begin to wonder what you truly are. Not your name, not your thoughts, not your reflection, but your substance, your matter. What are you made of, and where did it come from? The answer, as quiet as breath, as wide as galaxies, is simple. You are made of dust that dreamed of becoming more. This dust was not ambitious in the way we think of dreams. It did not wish, it did not plan, but it responded to gravity, to light, to chance, and in doing so it became something new. It became chains of molecules, then cells, then systems, then organs, and now it has become you, reading these words, sitting in this moment, a spark of the universe aware of itself. All your organs, all your tissues have done this quietly, without praise. Your heart has never asked for gratitude. Your liver has never demanded recognition. Your lungs do not seek applause. They simply work, shaped from particles, born from time, devoted to keeping you alive. They are not failures of chance, or they are the consequence of cooperation, of pattern, of beauty made physical. And yet nothing within you lasts forever. Your cells die and are replaced. Your organs age. Eventually the breath will slow, the heart will rest, the body will return to the soil, and the dust will begin again. It will sink into earth. It will feed roots, drift in wind, dissolve in rain. One day it will become part of something else, a tree, a bird, a river, a spark in the air. The dust does not mourn its changes, it only continues. And so will you. Even in silence, even in sleep, you are not gone when your body rests. You are scattered, you are carried, you are returned. Science teaches us that matter cannot be destroyed, only transformed. What you are will not vanish. It will move, it will cycle. The carbon in your breath will feed a forest. The calcium in your bones will strengthen a mountain. The iron in your blood will drift into water and sky. You are not lost, you are released. And in that release there is a kind of peace. The organs you carry today that pulse and stretch and feel are part of a story that is far from over. Their work continues even when they no longer move. Their particles return to the dance of the cosmos. Dust is not failure. Dust is beginning. It is the bass note of creation. It is where all stories start. And you for a time are a chapter written in organs and breath. A page shaped from galaxies. Let yourself rest in that truth. Let yourself breathe into it. Your body is not separate from the stars. It is their continuation. Your organs are not ordinary. They are constellations folded into flesh. And when the day comes that your breath slows, when your body begins to fall still, do not fear. You're not ending, you're becoming, you're returning. The dust will hold you again, gently, patiently, as it always has. You are not merely a creature made of dust, you are dust that learned to sing. Dust that grew lungs, dust that dreamed of a heart and built one, dust that wrapped itself in skin and called it home. So carry your organs with reverence, not because they are flawless, but because they are miraculous. Each one is a memory of something much older, much wider than you can see. Each one is stardust made soft. You are not alone. You are not small. You are the quiet proof that the universe remembers how to feel, how to live, how to listen. And that dust, our oldest ancestor, still dreams in you. There is a quiet strength beneath your skin, a kind of stillness that holds you up even when you falter. You do not see it. You do not hear it. But it is always there, bearing your weight, balancing your body, keeping you upright against the pull of gravity. Bone, not just hard matter, but memory shaped into form. And within bone, holding it firm, giving it structure, is calcium, a mineral so simple, so quiet, and yet so essential it touches every part of your life. Calcium does not speak. It does not glow, but it carries a history written in the dust of stars. The calcium in your bones today began its journey billions of years ago in the heart of ancient supernova. When massive stars reached the end of their lives, they collapsed and exploded, flinging their insides into space. Among the scattered elements was calcium, born in fire, cooled in darkness, drifting across galaxies until it found its way into planets, into oceans, into food, into you. You carry about 1 kilogram of calcium in your body, most of it in your skeleton. But it's not just sitting there unmoving. Your bones are alive, they grow, they adapt, they change shape in response to how you use them. When you press your feet against the ground, when you lift, when you leap, your bones respond. They thicken where needed, they shift their architecture. The calcium within them moves with purpose, not by thought, but by design older than thought itself. From your skull to your toes, every bone holds the story of your life. The bumps and ridges of your joints, the curve of your spine, the shape of your fingers, all carved from calcium, all sculpted by movement and time. Even after you stop growing, your bones are never still. Old bone is broken down and replaced with new, in a process that continues quietly night after night, year after year. This is not failure, it is wisdom, renewal. But calcium is not only in your bones, it flows in your blood, tiny ions drifting like whispers, delivering messages no voice could carry. It helps your heart beat, your muscles contract, your brain sends signals. When you move, when you blink, when you dream, it is calcium that allows the message to arrive. A mineral, once silent dust in space, now carries thought across synapses. In the deepest parts of your cells, calcium acts like a conductor. It tells enzymes when to act. It tells your body when to heal. It is part of clotting, of contraction, of memory. And yet it does this invisibly, gently, without any sign. There is no noise when calcium flows. There is only continuation. Bone seems solid, but if you could zoom in, you'd find networks, trabeculae, tiny arches and beams like coral reefs, like tree roots underground. These structures are strong and light, designed for both strength and movement. They hold you upright, yes, but they also allow you to leap, to run, to rest. The balance of calcium within these structures is delicate. Too little, and bones become brittle. Too much, and they lose flexibility. The body knows this balance and guards it with care. And this calcium, so deeply tied to the earth, also remembers the sea. Long before bones, calcium lived in oceans, part of shells, part of coral. Ancient creatures built their bodies with it, just as you do now. In a way, your skeleton is an echo of those first ocean dwellers. Your spine, your ribs, your jaw, all carry a trace of underwater ancestry. You are not just walking on land, you are walking with the sea inside you. Children are born with soft bones. As they grow, calcium flows in, hardens, shapes. This process is slow but certain. With each step, each fall, each laugh, the bones become stronger. They remember how to hold, they learn where to bend, and through every moment of life they remain constant and quiet, the only part of you that lasts past death. Long after breath is gone, bone remains, holding the shape of who you once were. And what of the teeth? They are not separate. They are bone too, specialized, hardened, shaped by both genetics and use. Their enamel is the hardest substance in your body, a shield made from minerals and time. With them you bite, speak, smile. They are part of your expression, part of your strength, and within them calcium sings its song. There is no moment in your life untouched by calcium. It flows through food, through blood, through memory. It forms the cradle of your birth and the frame of your rest. And though it does not shimmer or spark, it glows in a different way, through stillness, through steadiness, through silence that endures. So place your hand on your chest. Beneath muscle and skin, bone waits, not passively but patiently, not as armor but as structure. It is the house in which you live, built from dust, shaped by gravity, held together by calcium that once floated among stars. You are not just walking with bones, you are walking with galaxies folded into form. Let us drift inward again, slowly, gently, into the architecture of your skeleton, not just its form, but its meaning. The bones you carry are not just supports, they are records. They are the long memory of pressure, of posture, of protection. They hold your weight, they cradle your organs, they shape your face. But they also store time. Every step you've taken, every fall, every healing, your bones remember them all, even if you do not. Within this structure lies a harmony, maintained by cells that work in silence. Osteoblasts build new bone. Osteoclasts take it away. A constant dance, a gentle remodeling. They move with purpose, balancing stress and rest, growth and stillness. This balance is directed by chemical messengers, many guided by calcium. When the body needs more calcium in the blood, bones release it. When the body has enough, bones draw it back in. It is a quiet conversation between need and nurture. This exchange is not random, it is sacred. The body prioritizes calcium above nearly all else. If you're not consuming enough, it will take from your bones to feed your nerves, your heart, your muscles. The body protects its function even at the cost of structure. This is the wisdom of survival. And yet the body always works to restore, to replenish, to rebuild. And where does this calcium come from? From food, yes, from milk, from leafy greens, from seeds and grains. But farther back it comes from stone, from earth, from ancient oceans. It is in the soil, in the shells of long-dead creatures, in the fossils that line riverbeds. The calcium in your spine may once have belonged to a trilobite. The calcium in your ribs may have rested in coral. There is no telling how far it has travelled to arrive in you. The earth too breathes calcium. It moves through cycles, erosion, sediment, mountain building. It is locked in limestone, freed by rain, carried by rivers. Trees draw it from the ground, animals eat the leaves, you eat the food, and the mineral continues its path, from rock to root to bone. The silence of calcium is not emptiness. It is patience. It is passage. Now think of the skull, that most mysterious of bones. It holds your brain like a shell holds a pearl, close, protective, essential. And within that skull, the brain pulses with thought, with memory, with electricity. And yet, without the calcium of the skull, the brain would have no refuge. Its dreams would have no anchor. You think because you are protected. You speak because your jaw, made of bone, moved by muscle, gives shape to air. Your skeleton is not rigid. It is designed for motion. It flexes at joints, arcs with movement, twists and bends. Each joint is a marvel. Cartilage cushions it. Synovial fluid lubricates it. Ligaments hold it. And beneath it all is bone, calcium arranged into structure. Without it you would collapse, with it you dance. And this dance is not just movement. It is music written in form. When you run, when you stretch, when you lie still, your bones are listening. They feel every force, they grow where needed, they recede where not. Astronauts who leave Earth's gravity lose bone mass. The body no longer feels the pull and begins to let go. This is not weakness. It is responsiveness. Bones grow when they are used. They fade when they are forgotten. Even your ears, tiny bones within them, carry calcium. The malleus, incus, and stapes, 3 smallest bones in the body. They vibrate with sound. They carry music, voice, language. Without them, there would be no hearing. And they too are born of dust. They too carry the memory of the sea, where early creatures first sensed vibration in water. And there is the spine, a tower of vertebrae strong and flexible. It holds your body upright. It protects your nerves. It is the core of your posture, your stance, your movement. Each bone in your spine is shaped with care, curved to absorb shock, to allow flow. Discs soften the space between. Nerves branch outward like trees, all of it held by calcium, all of it alive. As you grow older, bones change. They become less dense, more fragile, but they do not give up. They carry you until the end, and even then, they endure. Long after muscle has melted, after skin has softened, bones remain. Found in deserts, in graves, in caves. They tell stories to those who come after. How tall you were, how you lived, what you carried. They are history written in mineral. There is a reverence we owe our bones, not just for their strength, but for their silence. They do not complain, they do not shout. They serve, steadfast. When you feel tired, they hold you. When you fall, they break to protect what matters most. And when they heal, they remind you that you too can begin again. So the next time you stand tall, remember, you're not upright by accident. You're upright because calcium once drifted in space, then fell to Earth, then found its way into you. You're upright because the stars decided to become solid. You're the proof that silence can be strong. You are the calcium silence. When the light fades and your body finds stillness, your bones remain. They do not ask for your attention. They do not need to be seen, but they are there, beneath it all, steadfast, silent, shining, with a quiet truth, that you are made from something that remembers, something that endures, something ancient. Calcium is not fast, it does not rush, it does not leap into action like a muscle or spark like a nerve, but it builds, it holds, it stays. The bones within you are a soft kind of architecture, one that grows as you grow, reshapes as you move, adapts as you live. Every motion you've made, every stretch, every stillness, it's all remembered in your skeleton. Not with words, but with shape, with density, with balance. And even in that silence, calcium speaks. Not with sound, but with connection. It signals in your brain, controls your heartbeat, directs muscle contraction. It tells cells when to divide, when to repair, when to rest. It is not just structure, it is instruction. You move because of calcium. You feel because of calcium. You become because of calcium. When you cut yourself and begin to heal, calcium arrives. It helps clot the blood. It helps rebuild the tissue. It stands at the threshold between harm and healing, steady and invisible. It does not celebrate. It does not expect praise. It simply does what it was made to do. Continue the cycle. You see it in children too, when they stumble and grow, bones lengthen, joints stretch, teeth fall out and return. All of this is calcium at work, shaping, reshaping. And later, as age comes gently or suddenly, the bones whisper back. They ache. They remind you to slow down. But even then they support you. Even then they try to hold. There is wisdom in the slow decay of bone, in the thinning of time, because even in that erosion the structure remains. And when you are gone, it remains still. Long after your laughter, your breath, your words have left the air, your bones may stay. In a forest or under stone, in a place no one remembers, your skeleton may hold the shape of your presence. Archaeologists find bones and build stories. They hold the fragments of ribs, spines, skulls, and from them reconstruct lives. Where someone walked, how they stood, what they carried. The calcium speaks, even centuries later. It does not shout. It hums with memory. And yet the journey of calcium is not limited to bone. When your body returns to the earth, calcium is released again. Into the soil, into the water. Plants drink it, animals eat it. The cycle begins anew. A leaf, a bird, a tree. Each may carry a piece of what once was your spine, your fingers, your smile. Perhaps one day that calcium will find itself in a feather, in a seed, in the bones of a creature who knows nothing of you but who walks the earth because of the minerals you gave. That too is immortality, not in name, not in memory, but in matter. Even the moon holds calcium, its rocks, its crust, its dust. When we study lunar samples, we find echoes of the same elements that shaped our bones. Calcium is not of Earth alone, it is of the universe. It is the bridge between worlds, between bodies, between time itself. And in this knowledge there is peace. You are not a fleeting form, you are part of a pattern, a movement of elements guided by gravity and life. You are dust, yes, but dust that found form. Dust that held a spine upright, that danced, that loved, that carried memory. So as you lie down at night, as your body softens into rest, think of the bones beneath you. Think of the stars that once birthed the calcium they carry. Think of the silence in your chest and the strength wrapped within it. You are not empty, you are held. You are not weightless, you are grounded by something older than earth, older than thought. And though your bones may not speak, they know where they came from, they know who you are. Because you are not just built from calcium, you are made from its sense. And that silence, ancient and kind, will carry you always. Stand before a mirror, not to judge, not to measure, but to look. Not at the shape of your face or the lines around your eyes, but deeper. Look at the light that catches your skin, the shimmer in your iris, the glow that seems to rise not from the surface, but from somewhere within. What you see there is not just reflection, it is origin. What you see is starlight. Long ago, before there were mirrors, before there were eyes to see, before the earth had oceans or clouds or names, there was light. Light poured from stars, filling the void, wrapping darkness in warmth. And that light carried more than brightness. It carried memory. It carried matter. It carried the seeds of everything you would one day become. Your body is not just made of atoms, it is made of light's decisions. Every carbon in your skin, every oxygen in your lungs, every hydrogen in your water, they were once part of the fire that burns in stars. These atoms were built in the heart of suns, forged in collapse, scattered in explosions. When you look at yourself, you're not seeing a separate being. You're seeing the universe folded into form. And starlight is not just past, it is present. Every moment of your life is bathed in it. It enters your eyes, shapes your sleep, guides your hormones. It tells your body when to wake, when to rest. It touches your skin, and in doing so your skin responds, producing vitamin D, shifting pigments, warming your blood. You are not just warmed by light, you are shaped by it. The mirror cannot show you all of this. It shows only the surface. But beneath that surface, light moves in countless ways. Inside your cells, mitochondria convert energy using light's ancient lessons. In your brain, neurons fire like stars, lighting up thoughts, memories, hopes. In your bones, calcium responds to photons, reinforcing structure. Light is not outside you, it is within. And consider your eyes, themselves built for light. The retina holds photoreceptors, cells that catch photons like nets in a river. They translate light into signals, those signals become vision. But even before vision, there is light. Light travels through space, through time, across trillions of miles, only to land softly on the curve of your eye. You're not just observing the universe, you're being observed by it. You're completing its journey. Now think of the sun, that ordinary star, so close, so constant. Its light takes 8 minutes to reach you. Every second it sends more energy to Earth than all of humanity could ever use. And you stand in its path, receiving, absorbing, responding. The warmth on your skin is not just temperature. It is time. It is history arriving. It is fusion felt. But light does more than warm. It defines. The way you see the world is shaped entirely by it. The colour of leaves, the glow of skin, the blue of the sky. All of it is light, scattered, reflected, absorbed. Even darkness is defined by light's absence. You do not simply live in light, you live through it. And the light you carry is not metaphor, it is literal. Biophotons, tiny packets of light, are emitted by your cells. They flicker in patterns, invisible to your eye but real. Your body shines ever so faintly, not like a bulb but like a whisper, like the way a candle continues to glow after it's blown out. You are luminous, you are glowing, you always have been. In the mirror, what you see is not the whole truth. Your reflection is just the echo of light, the surface of skin, but inside you there is more. There are molecules built from stardust. There are cells dancing in rhythm. There is a heart that pulses with electric light, a mind that maps the world in photons. You are not simply reflecting the sun, you are continuing it. Think of your childhood, the golden hours of play, the way light filtered through leaves, the warmth of the late afternoon, all of it shaped you. Your memories are painted in light, and your emotions too. Light lifts the spirit, guides the seasons, warms the soul. You feel more alive when it returns. It is not imagined, it is recognition. You are meeting yourself, and just as light enters you, you return it. Not as beams or rays, but as presence, as attention. When you speak with kindness, when you hold someone's gaze, when you offer calm, you are offering light. You're extending the fire that once shaped you. You're becoming it. So the next time you stand before a mirror, pause, look gently, not with scrutiny but with awe. What you see is the starlight that lived long before you were born, the atoms that drifted through galaxies, the light that crossed the cosmos to find you. You are not a shadow, you are not an outline, you're starlight, remembering itself in form. You are the reflection of something far older, far brighter, still glowing in the dark. The mirror can only show so much, skin, eyes, posture, but it cannot show what came before. It cannot reveal the vast ancestry that shaped you, nor the radiant journey your atoms have taken. But science can, and when science speaks in the language of wonder, we begin to remember what the mirror cannot reflect, that your very self is the afterglow of stars, that you are not looking at a body, you are looking at a constellation drawn together in quiet, breathing light. The starlight in your bones is not metaphor, it is science. Consider carbon, the element that makes your body soft and flexible, the backbone of every molecule in your DNA. Carbon was made not in Earth's cradle, but in the heart of a dying star. When that star collapsed, it cast its carbon into the dark, and over time those particles joined others. They floated, they gathered, they formed planets, they entered the deep oceans, they moved through the soil, they became plants, and eventually they became you. The same is true for oxygen, which makes up much of the water in your body. It was born in stars, it joined with hydrogen and became water, rain, rivers, cells, and in your lungs today, when you inhale and oxygen enters your bloodstream, you are breathing in star fragments. You are giving them purpose again, and every breath is a quiet reunion with the cosmos. Now think of iron. You know it well from the blood in your veins. It binds with oxygen, turning your blood red. But iron is not of Earth either. It can only be created in supernovae, explosions of unimaginable force. Without those explosions, there would be no iron, no blood, no pulse. The rhythm in your chest is a song composed in stellar death. Even calcium, the quiet builder of bones and teeth, began in a star's final breath. The bones that hold your body upright were once nothing but drifting mineral dust. Every motion, every step is the echo of starlight pressed into structure. You walk on Earth, yes, but you walk with pieces of collapsed suns inside you. And now turn again to your reflection. What do you see? Perhaps your eyes, the way they hold the world. Light enters your pupils, focused by the lens, captured by cells in the retina. These cells, rods and cones, translate photons into information. And just like that, starlight becomes sight. You don't just see with your eyes, you see with light itself. Your brain receives those signals, interprets them, assigns colour, meaning, memory. But all of it depends on light. The very idea of vision is a collaboration between star-born energy and star-born matter. Your ability to see a face, a leaf, a beam of morning light, it all arises from this delicate dance. But sight is not the only way light touches you. Deep in the brain lies the pineal gland, a small organ that responds to light and dark. It governs melatonin, the chemical that regulates your sleep. When the sun sets and light fades, melatonin rises and your body prepares for rest. When morning comes and light returns, melatonin falls and wakefulness begins. You live on a rhythm written in photons. Your body is tuned to light, not just in your eyes, but in your skin, your cycles, your cells. Light enters and speaks quietly, guiding everything from mood to metabolism. And this light, this sunbeam, was born in the core of a star, travelling through space for 8 minutes before touching your skin. That light is ancient, and yet its work is always new. Inside your cells, another kind of light is present, biophotons. These faint emissions, too small to see, flicker with information. Scientists believe these lights may be involved in cellular communication, a kind of shimmering language we don't yet fully understand. Even in darkness, your cells glow. Even without sun, you shine. And what of memory? Light leaves an imprint there too. Your mind stores images, moments flooded with brightness, a sunrise on a cold morning, the glitter of sunlight on water, the way someone's face looked when they laughed. These are not just thoughts, they are recordings of photons that once touched you and stayed. And so you carry light not just on your skin, but in your mind. You are a collector of stars, a keeper of brightness. Even in sadness, light finds its way in, through tears, through windows, through memory. You do not just reflect light, you're made of it, formed by it, sustained by it. Even the way you heal is shaped by it. Light therapy, used to treat seasonal sadness, skin conditions, sleep disorders, it works not by force but by reminding your body of what it already knows, that light restores, that it calls the body back to balance. And isn't that what we all do in our own way? Search for the light that feels like home. Perhaps that is why we are drawn to it. Fire, candles, stars, sunsets. We seek light not just for vision but for memory, for presence, for peace. The mirror cannot show you all of this, but if you look long enough, gently enough, you may feel it. The warmth beneath your skin, the flicker in your thoughts, the glow behind your eyes. You're not separate from the stars. You are what happens when starlight decides to look back. You are the gaze of the universe, folded into form. And when you see yourself, truly you are seeing light remembering where it came from. At the end of the day, when the sun slips beneath the horizon and light grows thin, you may find yourself alone with your reflection again. Not searching, not questioning, just looking. In that dim golden hush your face softens, shadows lengthen, and what stares back from the glass is not just a body, not just a shape, but a glow, a memory of light, carried forward in skin and breath. Starlight still lives in you, even when the day fades. It pulses in your blood, sparks in your brain, hums quietly in every cell. You do not need to see it to know it's there. The warmth you feel in rest, the spark of thought in stillness, the way your skin remembers the sun, it's all part of the same radiance. You're not merely made of matter. You're light, slowed down enough to touch. And though your form is soft, impermanent, always changing, the light that shaped it is not. It cannot be destroyed. It can only travel, transform, arrive. It came from stars long gone, crossed the void, joined with dust, became water, became blood, became you. And it will leave you too, someday, not in loss, but in continuation. Because starlight doesn't end. It moves, it joins new shapes, it feeds new stories. One day, the atoms in your hand, the photons in your eye, the calcium in your bones will return to the earth, and then to the sky, and then, perhaps, to someone else. You are not just witnessing starlight, you are keeping it alive. Look again at your reflection. Notice the parts we rarely name, the curve of your collarbone, the way your breath fogs the glass, the depth in your gaze. These are not accidents. These are designs drawn from eons. You're not only beautiful because of symmetry or colour. You are beautiful because you are radiant. Because even when your body rests, the light within you continues to shine. And you've shared that light. Every time you laughed, every time you listened, every time you stayed. You've given pieces of it to others, and in doing so you've become part of their glow too. That's how starlight moves through people. Not just in birth and death, but in kindness, in presence, in warmth. Even the smallest gestures carry light. The touch of a hand, a quiet word, a soft glance. These things are not just moments, they are transmissions. One body to another, one soul to another. Like stars across a sky, sending their shimmer into the night. And when your light flickers, when you feel dim, know this. The stars themselves are not always constant. They pulse, they fade, some are seen only in reflection. Some live behind clouds for years, but they are still there, burning, waiting, returning, just as you do. Sometimes the brightest light we carry is the one no one sees, the one that keeps us standing when we want to fall, the one that whispers, keep going when nothing else does. That light is no less real. In fact, it may be the most honest kind. There will come a day when your reflection changes, when time draws lines on your skin, silver into your hair, softness into your voice, and even then light will remain. It may shine differently, slower, deeper, warmer, but it will still be you. It will still be starlight remembering. Because to age is not to fade. It is to grow more luminous in ways the eye cannot see, It is to become more fully what you've always been, a flicker of the cosmos, made human for a while, and in the very end, when your breath is still and your mirror stands quiet, your light will not go out. It will go on, into stories, into trees, into skies. Your starlight will scatter, softly, gently, the way it once arrived. A return, not a loss. A continuation, not a conclusion. So take one last look tonight, not with longing, not with fear, but with reverence. Because what you see in the mirror is not just a person, it is starlight. Learning how to live, learning how to love, learning how to shine. Lick your lips after a tear has fallen, or taste your skin after a day in the sun, and you'll know it, that unmistakable flavour. Salt. Simple, ancient, familiar. But have you ever wondered where it came from? Not just from the sea or the earth, but deeper, farther. Salt is not merely a mineral. It is a story of stars, of fire, of silence. A story of how the universe leaves traces of itself in your body. The salt in your blood, your sweat, your tears, it began not in oceans, but in stars. Sodium, one half of what we call salt, is not found floating in early space. It was created in the cores of stars, in the pressure and heat of nuclear fusion. When massive stars reached the end of their lives, they collapsed inward, then exploded outward in brilliant supernovas. In that violent release, sodium was born. Flung across the cosmos, scattered in dust and light, it drifted until it became part of new worlds. One of those worlds was Earth, and on Earth, water gathered, rain fell, rivers formed. The minerals of the land, sodium among them, dissolved into streams, into seas, into life. When the first single-celled creatures formed in salt water, they carried the ocean inside them. They carried its chemistry, and when those cells became more complex, more mobile, more aware, they did not forget their origins. They built their bodies around salt. You are a child of that memory. Every cell in your body floats in fluid with salt in it. Your blood, your tears, your sweat. They are echoes of ancient seas, not just metaphorically, literally. Your internal salt content is strikingly similar to that of the primal oceans. The sea never left you. It moved inside, and the salt within you is not passive. It has purpose. Sodium flows across cell membranes, creating electrical signals. This is how your brain thinks, how your heart beats, how your muscles move. With every step, every blink, every word, you are using salt to speak, to act, to live. These signals are fast. Ions moving in and out, doors opening and closing at the cellular level, millions of times each second. And without sodium, without that gift from dying stars, your body would fall silent. Salt is not decoration. It is electricity. It is movement. It is thought. Now think of your tears. They fall in grief, in joy, in pain, in laughter. But no matter the cause, they always taste the same, salted with emotion. But the salt itself, its mineral form, is neither sad nor joyful. It is simply there, a silent companion to feeling. It rides the waves of your emotion and leaves behind a trace. You're not just crying, you're returning a little of the sea to the world. The salt in sweat carries other messages too. It cools you, it cleanses you. It speaks of effort, of heat, of persistence. After work, after fear, after heat, it emerges, crystal by crystal, shimmering on the skin. A reminder that your body is always responding, always balancing, always speaking in the language of minerals. But salt is not just sodium. The other half is chlorine, another element forged in stars, another traveller from the heart of explosions. Alone, chlorine is toxic, dangerous, but when it meets sodium, it becomes safe, useful, essential. This too is a kind of lesson. Some things only find balance when joined. Some elements only become life when they learn to bond. In your stomach, salt forms the base of the acid that helps you digest. In your nerves, it powers every twitch and sigh. In your cells, it balances pressure, allows nutrients to flow, keeps everything in harmony. It is everywhere doing everything, yet it asks for nothing. Your bones carry small amounts of salt too, not for structure but for storage. When salt is scarce, the body pulls from these reserves. It remembers where it placed what it needs. And so your skeleton, that silent pillar of strength, is also a hidden vault of stardust. And it's not just in you. Salt runs through the veins of the planet. Oceans shimmer with it. Deserts glitter with it. Animals crave it. Roads are cleared with it. Civilizations have traded for it, fought for it, built upon it. It is in the sweat of labour, the tears of longing, the flavour of food. Salt is everywhere, and yet we rarely notice. But science notices. When we study the body, we find sodium everywhere. Not in large, showy quantities, but in quiet necessity. Too much and the body suffers, too little and it falters. Balance is everything. The body knows, it adjusts. It listens to its salt. When you season your food with salt, you are doing more than enhancing flavour. You're inviting memory. You're feeding a part of you that has always known this mineral. You're reconnecting with the sea, with the stars, with something deep and essential. Because salt is not just taste, it is time. It is the residue of explosions that happened before Earth had a name. It is the echo of oceans that cradled the first flicker of life. It is the shimmer left behind by motion, by feeling, by being. So the next time you cry or sweat or season a meal, pause, taste the salt. Remember where it came from. Not just the ground, not just the sea, but the stars, the supernovas, the fire before form. You are not just full of salt, you are full of stardust that learned how to speak in minerals. You are the salt of supernovas, shining, surviving, alive. And let's drift deeper now, not just into the salt within your body, but into the current it rides. This mineral, so small and silent, does not rest. It moves constantly through blood vessels, across cell walls, along nerve paths. Salt is not only part of your form, it is part of your flow. You are not a solid object, but a shimmering system of exchanges, of pulses, of balances, and in every pulse salt plays its role. Within your cells are gates, proteins that open and close with exquisite timing. They allow sodium and other ions to pass in and out, creating differences in electrical charge. These tiny fluctuations form the basis of every heartbeat, every muscle contraction, every memory. It is electricity, yes, but not made by wires or batteries. It is born in water, in salt, in motion. Your nerves do not stretch like ropes. They signal, and the signal is salt. A rush of sodium into the neuron, a change in voltage, and suddenly the message travels. It may be the blink of an eye, the memory of a scent, the clench of a fist. All of it is possible because salt creates the spark. Your thoughts, your sense of self, depend on the rhythm of salt. But salt is not only in the electric, it is in the balance. The body is built on gradients, differences between inside and outside, higher and lower. Salt manages these differences. It holds water where it's needed, pushes it away where it's not. Without salt, cells swell or shrink, muscles cramp, organs falter. The body's elegant dance becomes chaotic. Salt in its silence keeps the tempo. This is why you thirst, not just for water, but for salt. When levels drop, the body signals. You crave, you seek, and when balance is restored, you feel whole again, not just hydrated, but reconnected, because salt is not indulgence. It is memory, repair, survival. Your kidneys understand this more intimately than any other part of you. They filter your blood every moment, separating waste, preserving salt. They sense sodium levels with astonishing precision. When you sweat, when you cry, when you bleed, your kidneys listen. They adjust. They return you to balance. You do not command them. You do not notice them. But they work, always, holding the salt within your blood like a whisper of the sea. And the heart? Yes, the heart depends on salt too. Each beat is driven by electrical impulses, regulated by sodium, potassium, and calcium. The rhythm is not just sound, it's mineral. You can feel it now, can't you? The steady drum in your chest made possible by stars. Even your skin carries salt. It glistens on your forehead in heat. It gathers behind your knees, along your spine. And when you touch someone else, when your hands clasp, when your cheek brushes theirs, you share that salt. You share the chemistry of contact, a trace of the ocean, a memory of origin. Salt weaves through our stories too. It has preserved food, carried trade, built cities. In ancient times, it was sacred. Roman soldiers were paid in it. Temples were purified with it. Salt marked the sacred and the everyday. It flavoured sacrifice and supper alike. People followed it, fought for it, lived by it. Because they knew, perhaps not in science but in instinct, that without it life slips away. Today we are told to fear salt, to measure it, to moderate. And yes, too much can harm, but the story is more than caution. The story is origin. The story is connection. Your body is not afraid of salt, your body is made from it. In your tears there is more than sadness. There is starlight. There is survival. Each drop contains sodium and chloride, same as the sea, same as the stars. When you cry, you're not just feeling, you're releasing something ancient, a mineral memory of beginning. The body does not cry salt by accident. It cries with salt because salt is part of everything you are. It carries emotion the way it carries charge, subtle, strong, impossible to ignore. Tears are not weakness. They are evidence of feeling, of chemistry, of cosmic inheritance. Even the placenta, where life first begins in the womb, regulates salt. The fetus floats in amniotic fluid rich with minerals. There, in that tiny ocean, salt moves into tissues, shapes the nervous system, helps the brain begin. Salt is not added later. It is there from the start. Life begins in brine. The first taste a newborn recognizes is salt, not sugar, not fat, salt. It is the taste of life, of blood, of memory, of stars. We carry that taste with us, hidden in our saliva, etched in our skin. It is not just flavor, it is recognition. And when we die, when the body stills and the flow stops, the salt remains. It lingers in the tissues. It settles in the bones. It returns to the earth and waits, perhaps to rise in grass, in rain, in someone else's breath. Because salt does not disappear, it continues. So the next time you wipe a tear or feel the sting of sweat in your eyes, do not rush to hide it. Taste it. Remember, you are not just flesh. You are minerals that burn, that feel, that live. You are salt electrified. You are the supernova's echo walking. You are the balance between storm and stillness. You are the taste the stars left behind. Now let us move softly toward the ending. Not an end of the salt nor the stars, but the end of this story of remembrance. The story of salt is not one of glory. It is not loud. It does not shine like gold nor sparkle like crystal, but it is deeper, older, more faithful. And as we sit quietly with it, we realize that salt is not just within us. It is of us. It is one of the ways the universe chose to remember its own light, through taste, through current, through feeling. Your body, so full of movement and thought, is also full of chemistry. Sodium flows in, potassium flows out, chloride rides alongside them, balancing charge and pressure. You are not thinking these flows into being. They happen without your permission. They happen in your sleep, in your silence. Even now, as you sit still, salt is moving within you, making thought possible, holding breath steady, keeping rhythm in your blood. Salt's quiet power is not just physical, it is symbolic. It represents the trace we leave behind. Sweat on a brow, a tear on a cheek, a palm pressed to another's. Salt is the evidence that we were here, that we loved, that we endured. It is the residue of effort and emotion, left behind like a fingerprint of the soul. And it connects us, not only to ourselves, but to each other. Every human, every animal, every plant needs salt. It is the universal craving, the ancient pull, and in this shared need, there is no hierarchy, no pride, only commonness. When we sweat, we are like the deer that lap water from mineral springs. When we cry, we are like the mother whale whose tears merge with the ocean. Salt is what reminds us we are part of life, not above it. Even in ritual, salt has always held a place of power. It cleanses, it preserves, it blesses. A pinch tossed over the shoulder, a circle drawn to guard a space. These acts are not superstition alone, they are echoes. Old instincts, ways of speaking to the world in a language that minerals understand. When we use salt in these moments, we are not just seasoning food or warding harm, we are calling back the memory of stardust. We are aligning ourselves with the flow of time. And yes, salt preserves. It holds memory longer than flesh can. Fish dried with salt lasts through winter. Meat cured with it travels across oceans. But it also preserves story, the taste of home, the flavour of ancestors, a recipe passed down unchanged, because the salt remembers when no one else can. Your body too is preserved by salt. It holds water in your cells, it stabilizes enzymes, it binds proteins into shape. It is not just a chemical, it is a structure maker, a silence giver. Without salt, the body swells and collapses, muscles seize, thought fails, but with it the song continues, the light flickers forward. When we return to the earth, when the body ends, salt does not. It seeps into soil, it moves into rain, it flows back to rivers and oceans, and there it waits, perhaps to be drawn up by a tree, perhaps to rest in stone, perhaps to find its way one day into another being who will one day cry, sweat, reach, remember. Because the journey of salt is circular, it is not linear. It is not concerned with ownership, it moves freely, carried by wind, by tide, by time. It joins what needs joining. It leaves when it must. It returns when it is called. And so too do we. We are not fixed things. We are part of this same dance, and we come from stars. We pass through bodies. We leave traces. And if we are lucky, we are remembered not for grandeur, but for presence, for warmth, for the salt left behind. This is what it means to be alive in a universe made of stardust. To know that your thoughts require minerals, that your voice is carried by ions, that your grief tastes like oceans, that your joy glows with sodium light. You do not need to do anything grand to be part of this wonder. You need only exist, to feel, to love, to breathe, to be. Because you are not made of glass or gold, you are made of salt. You are the taste of supernovas that never forgot. You are the mineral memory of the stars, and in your tears, in your sweat, in your silence, the universe continues to speak. Hold your hand out in front of you, open it slowly, feel the weight, the warmth, the subtle pull downward. You might think it's just your arm responding to the earth, but it's more than that. That tug, so gentle you forget it's there, is gravity. The same gravity that holds moons in orbit, that bends the paths of stars, that shapes galaxies and curves time itself. And now, here it is, pulling on your skin, your bones, your breath. You carry the touch of the universe every moment simply by existing. Gravity is not loud. It does not flash or burn. It moves in steadiness. It holds the oceans in their basins, the atmosphere wrapped around the earth, the heart tucked inside the ribcage. You are not just affected by gravity, you are shaped by it. The roundness of your head, the arch of your feet, the strength in your legs, all are responses to this invisible hand, this quiet sculptor. Before there was life, there was gravity. Long before water, long before breath. In the early universe, when matter began to cool and drift, gravity began to gather. Clouds of gas collapsed into stars. Stars gathered into galaxies, galaxies into clusters. All of it woven together by the same force that now holds your body against the earth. Every atom in you has felt its pull. But gravity is more than attraction, it is relationship. Between mass and motion, between presence and space, and between you and everything else. When you stand, you are resisting gravity. When you fall, you are surrendering to it. And when you float in water or leap through the air, you are playing with it, dancing against a partner that never lets go. Even your blood flows with gravity. It must fight upward to reach your brain, yielding to it as it returns to your heart. Your body knows this. It has valves in the veins. It adjusts pressure. It tilts and balances. You do not think about these things. But gravity does. It is in constant conversation with your form. Your bones are not straight by accident. They are curved to support weight. Your spine is not a rod but a wave, flexible, resilient, built for motion within a world where everything falls unless it's held. Evolution has listened to gravity. So have your muscles, your joints, your feet. You are designed not just to exist in this pull, but to move through it gracefully. Now consider space, the vastness beyond the sky. There gravity still rules, but differently. In orbit, astronauts grow taller. Their spines decompress. Their muscles weaken. Their bones thin. Without gravity's gentle resistance, the body forgets its shape. Strength must be maintained artificially or it fades. Even lightness requires effort. This is how central gravity is, not just to movement, but to memory, to identity. You are the shape you are because gravity has always been here. Children grow with gravity. They crawl, then stand, then run, all in negotiation with it. They fall and learn and fall again. Each stumble is an education. Each step is a declaration. I belong in the pull. Gravity does not punish. It teaches. It reminds us where we are. It gives us weight, not as burden, but as presence. And what of the Earth itself? Its shape is determined by gravity, its spin, its tides, its atmosphere. Without gravity, there would be no moon in our sky, no oceans pulled gently back and forth, no seasons, no sheltering air. The planet breathes because gravity holds it close. Even time bends with gravity. Near massive objects, time slows, a truth proven not by dreamers, but by clocks. This is relativity. The deeper you fall into gravity's well, the slower time moves. And though you may never notice, your experience of time is touched by this dance. Your body, moving through space, feels time differently than stars, than satellites, than photons in flight. There is gravity in your relationships too, not in the scientific sense, but in the metaphor. You are drawn to others. You orbit their lives. Some people pull you closer. Some let you go. Love has its own gravity, so does memory, so does grief. The language of physics becomes the language of feeling. And perhaps that's because gravity is the most universal of all forces, weak but far-reaching. Quiet, but impossible to escape. It does not care about scale. It binds dust and galaxies alike, and it binds you now to this place, to this body, to this moment. So hold your hand out again. Feel the weight of your fingers, the warmth of your palm. Know that you are part of something vast, that the same force that shaped the stars is shaping you still. You are not floating. You are not lost. You are being held gently always by the gravity in your hands. Now let us go deeper beyond your body, beyond the pull you feel in your bones, and into the way gravity has shaped everything you know. It is not just a force. It is a quiet storyteller, an unseen sculptor of galaxies and rivers, of planets and pulse. Without it, nothing would hold, nothing would form, nothing would stay. Gravity begins with mass. The more pull. A pebble draws you less than a mountain, a moon less than a planet less than a star. But everything pulls. Even your body pulls on the earth just as the earth pulls on you. The difference in scale hides your impact, but the thread exists. The earth notices your presence, however faintly. You matter, in the most literal way. Your mass bends space. You have gravity. Imagine the early universe. After the Big Bang, matter drifted, scattered, alone. But gravity began to pull it together, slowly, softly. Clouds became stars. Stars found each other. Galaxies spun into spirals. None of it would have happened without this gentle attraction. It is gravity that turned chaos into beauty. It is gravity that turned silence into form. And the same is true within you. Your organs are not floating. They are held in place by pressure, by connection, by gravity. Your center of balance allows you to walk, to run, to dance. Your inner ear even contains crystals, tiny grains of calcium that help you sense movement, tilt motion. Gravity is your invisible compass. We think of gravity as pulling down, but really it pulls toward the center, toward what matters. The reason you feel planted is because the earth is beneath you, calling you home. You respond to it with every step. Gravity is not resistance, it is relationship. You move through it. You rest in it. It is the partner in every movement. Consider the moon, locked in a gravitational dance with Earth. It circles us, and we hold it close. This orbit is old, precise, unbroken. It creates tides, guides rhythms in animals, affects even the timing of birth. The moon's gravity pulls the ocean, and your body, mostly water, responds too. You're not separate from lunar motion. You're part of it. The planets all orbit the sun because of gravity. They don't fly off into space, they stay, tracing paths written by mass and motion. Some move fast, some slow, some tilt, some spin, but all are bound in a celestial choreography, where gravity is the music no one hears, yet all obey. And in the universe's deepest places, gravity becomes more than force, it becomes mystery. Black holes, regions where gravity is so intense, not even light can escape. They are not just dense, they are events where time and space are pulled into sense, and yet, even these darknesses have purpose. They anchor galaxies. They remind us that gravity has no limit, that it can hold even light itself. Your own body has its limits too. When gravity is too strong, the bones strain, the blood pools, the breath shortens. Climbing a mountain, flying in a plane, standing too long, gravity becomes louder in discomfort. But it is not your enemy. It is a teacher. It tells you where you are, how to adjust, how to listen. Even your posture is a dialogue with gravity. When you stand tall, you align with its pull. When you slouch, you resist it. The spine curves, the muscles tighten, and the body feels tired. But in alignment, in cooperation, you feel light. Not because gravity is gone, but because you are moving with it, not against it. There are people who have never walked, whose bodies relate to gravity differently, and yet they too are shaped by it. Their strength, their adaptation, their balance, it all reflects a unique relationship to gravity's call. No one escapes it, but everyone lives with it differently. Children playing know this intuitively. They jump, fall, climb, spin. They learn limits through laughter and landing. Gravity is their first teacher of boundaries, of space, of return. Even when they fall, they learn to rise, because gravity allows flight, but always welcomes us back. In dreams, we sometimes fly, defying gravity. Not because we dislike it, but because part of us remembers what it would feel like to float. In water, we feel it, the lightness, the easing of burden, gravity softened by buoyancy. The body sighs, the joints rest, the heart finds calm. This is why we float in sleep. Not because we truly rise, but because our muscles release. The constant negotiation with gravity takes a pause, and in that pause we rest not above the earth, but more deeply in it. Even when you stretch, gravity is your guide. You lengthen against it. You test your edges, and then you return. It is not a force you conquer. It is a force you live with. It does not restrain. It holds. It keeps you from drifting, not from dreaming. And when we send satellites, probes, ships into space, gravity is the first thing we must escape and the last thing we must return to. Rockets push against it. Engineers calculate its pull. But always there is return, re-entry, landing. Gravity is the home we leave and the one we must come back to. So now, as you stand on the ground or sit in a chair or lie in bed, feel it, the gentle tug beneath you. The earth, not pulling you down but holding you close. The force that shapes stars also cradles your skull. The same laws that govern galaxies guide your spine. You are not separate from the universe's motion. You are its smallest expression. Your gravity slowed into skin, your balance walking, your presence held gently by the shape of space, and gravity, patient and vast, holds you still, not to limit you, but to remind you that you belong here, now, always. Let us bring this story to rest, softly, gently, as gravity always does. Not in endings, but in arrivals, because gravity is not final. It does not close. It brings things home. It is the arms that catch you when you leap, the pull that slows you when you run, the quiet reminder that no matter how far you go, you are still part of something larger. This pull you feel, always downward, is not a punishment. It is presence. It is the earth saying, I see you, even when you sleep, even when you forget. The ground waits beneath your feet like a lullaby, waiting for the body to return. Every time you rise from bed, you meet gravity again, and your body adjusts without thought. Bones bearing weight, muscles awakening, the spine stacking vertebrae like stars in a line. And this grace, the ability to move through gravity without noticing, is a miracle of design. Not just yours, but nature's. Trees grow upward against it. Roots push downward with it. Water flows because of it. Mountains stand in defiance, yet their shape is a result of its insistence. Even clouds hang suspended in balance, light enough to drift, heavy enough to fall as rain. All things negotiate with gravity. All things learn to live within its hands. So too does time. In places where gravity is strongest, near black holes, within massive stars, time stretches, warps, slows. Clocks tick differently. A second may feel longer. The universe does not keep uniform time. It keeps gravity time. Even your GPS knows this. Satellites high above must adjust for time dilation, or your maps would lead you astray. The sky counts seconds differently than the ground beneath your feet. But you do not need to leave the planet to feel this. You feel it in age, in growth, in memory. Gravity is the reason your bones strengthen as a child, the reason you become heavier with fatigue, the reason your skin, over years, begins to drift gently downward. It is not decay. It is change. It is the Earth's hand slowly cradling you back to stillness. When you are still, truly still, you can feel it more clearly. The weight of your hands on your lap, the press of your body into the chair, the heaviness in your eyes as you begin to drift. Gravity tugs not cruelly, but consistently. It does not forget. It does not let go. Even in death, gravity plays its role. The body returns to the earth, not as a fall, but as a homecoming. The bones settle into soil. The dust becomes part of other dust. It is not an erasure. It is a return to the cycle. Gravity holds you, even then, perhaps especially then. And what of love? We speak of it in gravitational terms because we know somewhere deeper than science that to love is to be pulled toward. We orbit one another. We fall for each other. We are held in another's field. When we lose someone, it feels like we're floating away, untethered, drifting. And when we are close, we feel grounded again. Love has mass. Love bends space. Your voice too carries weight, not just in sound, but in presence. When you speak, the vibration presses against the air. It moves others. It moves yourself. It leaves an imprint. Just as a comet curves space, your words curve moments. They hold, they linger. And in all of this, your hands, those simple instruments of reaching, holding, creating, are constantly in quiet conversation with gravity. They lift, they press, they drop. Even your gestures are shaped by this force. To wave, to write, to touch. All are movements within gravity's embrace. Try holding something now, a stone, a book, a memory. Feel how it rests in your palm, not only because of weight, but because of how your body receives that weight, how your arm adjusts, how your breath shifts. You are not resisting gravity, you're cooperating with it. You're dancing with a partner that never speaks, but always listens. And it is in this listening that gravity becomes beautiful. It is the reason your feet touch earth, the reason your heart stays within your chest, the reason you wake in the same place where you fell asleep. It gives the world shape, and shape gives rise to experience. So the next time you feel heavy, do not curse it. That weight is proof that you are real, that you are held, that you are here. The earth beneath you is not indifferent. It is attentive. It does not push you away. It pulls you in. Always. You're not drifting through space, and you are not lost in the dark. You are gravity's guest. You are its companion. You are part of the curve in space that means this is where you belong. And when you walk, or rest, or reach, you do not move alone. You move with the earth, with the moon, with the stars, bound not by chains, but by belonging. This is the grey.